That's a good quote.
Indonesia punishes quarantine violators by sending them to a haunted house. Indonesia. I just want to go to the haunted house.
Hello?
So, pull these out. You can see where this one.
Hello?
These other ones through it.
Hey, Jeff. Hello again, Kimberly.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm alive and kicking.
Well, that's all we can ask for right now. But
No.
next week we should be alive and kicking butt.
No. Well, that depends on who you ask. If they're happy about that.
um, yes, no, being alive and kicking butt is a good thing. So, yeah.
How was your class? I didn't get a chance to make it.
Good. We only had like 4 people,
Oh,
which, okay. I really want everybody that's in the leads group to at least go through that with me one time. That's in my the Facebook leads. So, hi, Bets.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Good. How are you?
Good. Danzig.
Hello, hello.
Kimberly's being shy. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'll steal Jeff's line. I'm alive and kicking, but yeah. Look.
You're doing more than that. Pitch yourself.
Yeah. So I didn't have a chance to tell you, Sharon. On August 3rd, I got 100% clear physical.
Well, praise God for that.
Yep,
You
absolutely.
know who gets glory. Yeah, that means you're still here and we can still bother you.
That's
and
right.
bug
You can bother me all you want.
There you go. Hi, everybody else.
I only have a couple
Definitely.
side effects still. So just a little like subcutaneous numbness. Like I went to the dentist still 2 months
Okay.
later.
Okay.
That's no fun. And then
No.
I have a little bit of fog brain sometimes.
That will go away.
I wish I could forget who Jordan is, but I can't.
You can't do that. You're stuck with him.
I owe you a call back too. I saw you called me yesterday and it was a crazy day. So I'll get you after this.
Yeah. Greg, look at your ball cap.
Nice, huh?
What is that?
I don't know. But
Like,
we need to get him. He needs to get the little beanie and do the
Is that
pop.
like some Wisconsin minor league team or something? What is that?
It's a 100-mile run I did last year. The Tahoe
Okay.
Rim Trail Run.
Oh,
Why?
nice. That's a fun one, I bet.
It was awesome.
Was that the one you did the overnight one?
Yep.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, was it 100 mile?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you sleep in the woods or did you actually have a bed?
No, I only slept for a minute while I was walking on accident.
Sleepwalking.
I want
I was
to.
walking and I was like, oh, I don't remember a little bit, and I stumbled.
If I
It's like one of those when you just wake up in your home and you're like, how'd I drive here?
Yeah.
Nobody could scare me enough to get me to run 100 miles.
Right? I mean, that bear would have to have a lot of endurance.
Or, yeah, no, he better know how to fight.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I have not met Mark. I got a friend request from him yesterday.
Mark Painter?
Mark Painter.
Yep. I'll mark her.
And I've not met Kira. I bet.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, how you?
Good.
Hey, good job being quick on the draw on some of those leads.
One.
Hey, you got one.
It's been tough.
Where'd Angie go? I thought I saw her here a minute ago.
I
there
probably
she
saw
is.
you were on and ran away.
I'm here.
The party's back.
Party's back. How is everybody?
Doing well. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. It's so nice
What's with all
outside.
these checks that I just got from you guys? Jeez.
Money, 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 money.
I'm going to spend the whole day entering your checks.
You're welcome.
Job security. Hey, Jesse, turn on your camera. You can't just have that creepy voice. You're
Yeah, no
welcome.
kidding.
You're
He's in the
welcome.
bathroom right now. He doesn't know.
Is it,
Yeah. No, you're
Is
fine.
someone hugging you in the bathroom too?
it's the Tiger King.
Nice.
No, I'm just eating my lunch, so that's all.
Hi, Dalton.
Hey, what's going on?
Much. Here's our fearless leader.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Casey.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Doing
Down
well.
to the house. Everybody
Wow.
behave.
Well, we were just harassing Jesse about being the Tiger King. Tiger King with a man bun.
That's funny.
Better than a mullet.
I don't know.
Is it though?
I can't say that.
I'm not saying anything about anybody's hair because mine is getting pretty bad.
Oh, what's funny is my lady texted me yesterday. She's like, "You're my first text. We get to start on Monday. Do you want 9 a.m. right when I open?" So, yep, absolutely. It's getting horrible, so I'm with you, Casey.
Hi, Kristen. Yeah, my barber hasn't gone on strike yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, mine has. I'm trying to get in on next Monday or Tuesday, though. Should be able to. Okay, so welcome to the team rally. Today, first thing we'd like to talk about is the changes and when we're allowed to do showings and what that means. Okay, so as of April 27th.
No. That's Penny.
Somebody is not happy that we're going to do showings on the 27th.
She doesn't want to wait. She's got buyers right now. She's up.
So we're allowed to do them on the 27th, one-on-one showings. So here's what that means: is you and the customer, you and the client, you and your buyer. That's it. No overlapping showings, no open houses, no standing in line for showings. Let's don't get creative with this. I know there's a lot of stuff we've said to get creative with. Let's don't get creative with this. Let's follow the rule to the T, because we don't want it taken back. We don't want to say, okay, realtors are abusing it. They've got people standing in line outside of houses, going in one at a time, trying to skirt the system. Let's play by the rules as much as possible. If you're unclear on what it means and you have a question, call Jordan or call me. Is that good with everybody?
Yep,
I'm
got
sure
it.
we're all happy that we got showings back, right?
Yeah.
Can we get like a hooray or a round of applause? Something for that? I know we got to be a
Do we
little
get
excited.
like a wave on here? Do we have that kind of coordination?
Sorry, what was that?
Get a wave going on here?
Yeah,
Get like
I don't
a
think we
radio
have that
wave
quick
going
because
down
we're
there?
all on different parts of everybody else's screen. We would never get that right. But okay, so that's how the showings are. Now, here's one thing that came out with it that I saw too. Photography and videographers are not allowed.
Oh,
Now, I don't know where this happened because just last week we were told photographers were considered part of it. Then it came out that they weren't. But they did also say that they're gonna clarify, like they've been clarifying the whole time. I think they're gonna say anybody can go in as long as the client's okay with it, as long as the seller's okay with it, and as long as nobody else is going in at the same time. So just be very careful about how we're doing anything. Don't have a plumber and an electrician there at the same time. Don't have the photographer and the stager there at the same time. Make sure that we're following these rules to the T, and we are very cautious with it. I'm not trying to be too strict on it. I just want to make sure that we don't mess this up. And if it does get messed up, it's not us who did it. We good on that? Does anybody have any questions about that or any questions about what the governor said yesterday and what it means for us?
I'm so sorry, Casey. Could you repeat what you said about the photographers?
It had for some reason, it had a specific thing in there about saying not photographers and videographers right now. I don't know. It was kind of odd. Everything else was good, but photographers and videographers weren't on the list of being able to go in the house. But they said by the time the actual order, the change to the addendum comes out, they're sure they will be in there.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just saying right now, for some reason they weren't. Everybody else was listed. Photographers and videographers were left out. So we'll see by the time the order comes out. They're saying it should be out by Friday, and then it should be active Monday. Okay. No other questions about that? Basically, we can get back to where we were at before the no showings. Doesn't mean it's back to normal. They still want us doing everything as virtual as possible. It does not mean go out and show your clients 1,000 houses. That's not the purpose of the order. The purpose of this is to get it to where we can narrow it down virtually, and then we can take them to see the 1 or 2 houses they narrowed it down to. Because if we abuse it, it's going to be taken away again. Everybody good on that? Okay. So
wait, real quick, Kristen Fraser had a question. Do you have to wear masks?
Yeah, I would still wear a mask, take all the safety precautions. Like I would still do all that, gloves, masks, booties, wipe everything down. I would still do all that. As the seller, so any listings that my team has going live, what I'm telling them is after the showings, go wipe it down. And then also for my buyers, I'm telling my buyers agents to take stuff to wipe it down with you after you leave. So basically it's going to be cleaned twice if it's ours. We want to make sure that the sellers are completely comfortable. Good on that?
Hey, Casey.
Yes.
One thing I was doing before we couldn't show is when I would go into a house, I would just take my wipes and I would open all doors, open cabinets, anything they wanted to see with the wipes and not have buyers touch anything.
Yeah, just every level of safety you can. That was another thing. I had my listing agents would go wipe down the house before people would show it, and the buyer's agents would wipe it down before the buyers get there. So just always make sure it's clean as possible. Okay, so let's get into some other things. The main thing I wanted to talk about today, because everybody was asking about the market trends, what the numbers mean and what they're looking like. it's actually very interesting looking at the numbers. Showings are down. The tiger behind you is like killing me right now. I don't know why it's like bothering me so much. It doesn't bother me, but like it keeps drawing my eyes. Like it keeps drawing my eyes.
You know, it's not the LSU tiger, right?
Yeah, it's an LSU tiger. That's probably why.
It's not the tiger, it's Jesse.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll be. There we go. So, showings are down 65% for the month compared to last year. Now, we know most of that is because, what is it now? What has it been now? A week and a half that we haven't been able to do showings? Showing requests are down 65%. Surprisingly enough, there are still people doing showing requests and they're just getting denied. You'd be surprised at how many people are just completely don't care about the order and they're trying to still get showings in, but down 65%. Listings are down almost 35% compared to last year, April. That number is the number that we need to take the most notice of, because while listings are down 65%, our listings are up. Now, our listings being up is good for us. That also means we're going to find them. Here's what it really means. You're going to have a boom of listings whenever the order is completely listed. Now, there's probably going to be some who are like, okay, we're used to it. Now we're going to go back on the market since we can do showings. There's some people who are going to want to list now. I would go ahead and get the calls in to all your clients and say, hey, you know that the showing ban has been lifted. We are going to be able to show. You're going to have some clients who are going to say, no, we're still not comfortable. Just because it's been lifted doesn't mean that we feel safe. That's okay. They're going to list later, but you're going to have some who are going to want to list now. And the fact that we're down 35% over last year, and this is not a demand issue. This is purely the pandemic. This is purely COVID-19. So talk to your people and see if they actually want to go active, discuss it with them and see what their concerns are. Now, the other thing, days on market are up. So listings are down, days on market are up. What does that tell us?
Buyer's market.
It's buyer's market. We've been saying this for 6 weeks now that we were going to have a buyer's market. Now, it's a little confusing, though, that it's a buyer's market because days on market are up and listings are down. So if you have less inventory, higher days on market, that tells you it's a buyer's market, right? Does anybody agree with me besides Mark? Does anybody disagree with me?
Depends on how many days are on market.
Yeah, well, it went from high 20s to high 30s.
But part of it has to do with the lack of being able to show.
Yeah, it does. That was still considered a buyer's market though, because yeah, Jordan.
I disagree with it being a buyer's market because buyer's market would indicate that there's an overabundance of inventory, so the buyers have choice. Additionally, credit restrictions have gone up, meaning less buyers can buy.
Yeah, well, in a buyer's market, typically less buyers can buy.
Well, yes, however,
like
the inventory. So
yeah, inventory be way up. That's the odd part. Inventory's down, days on market goes up. So it's like two different things, right? Here's the other side of it. Average price point went up. I mean, average price of a home went up. Who's done price reductions on your houses? We're getting buyers under contract for lower prices, and we're reducing prices of houses. So how's it possible that the average price of a house in Denver went from $440 to $450?
Less data.
Less data, yeah. It could just be that it's just an anomaly for right now.
It hasn't caught up yet.
Hasn't caught up yet.
And we're also getting concessions.
My main thing, yep, concessions. We're getting concessions. That's a good point. Hasn't caught up yet is what I'm thinking though, because the houses that went under contract this month haven't closed yet. The houses that went under contract in March are closing this month. And if we remember just a month ago, the urgency was there and people were buying a lot more. So I think there's a few things that are going in on this. They're all weird numbers. The weird numbers to me is there's less inventory, but there's more days on the market. that tells me, that triggers me right there to say buyer's market, because we're going to see a 30-day lag on that. If that continues for 30 more days, we're going to see price reductions, more price reductions. So here's my point on that. And I really do want y'all's feedback, because I know we got a lot of people on here who have a lot of listings. I want your feedback on this and what you're thinking you're going to have to do. Because what I'm thinking is I'm going to have to start doing price. I'm going to have to plan the price reduction before we even list it. I mean, we already have that planned in, but what I mean is we are going to reduce the price before we list it. Hey, the market is telling me that, yep, the houses are selling at $450. I think we need to go at $440. And here's why. Who agrees or disagrees with me?
Casey, my question would be, since listings are down, I mean, it's going to readjust. Again, it's not a demand issue, it's a pandemic. But the same with the buyer, there's still people out there that are going to buy. Those are buyers that are still strong, and it's still going to readjust probably within the week of us going, able to show again.
Okay.
And so I'm like Jordan, I don't exactly agree that it's a buyer. It can be a pre-buyer market, but again, those numbers should adjust once, after 1 week of being, actively showing homes again.
Well, here's the thing though. Showings dropped 42% whenever we were allowed to do showings during COVID-19 before. They dropped even more whenever we weren't allowed, but they were dropping when we were allowed. Here's just my thoughts on it. Here's why. Let's say you're a buyer's agent, because I had this happen just the other day. We got a house under contract. The house was listed at $365. We got it under contract at $357 with $7,000 in concessions. Is that a seller's market listing or a buyer's market listing?
That's a buyer market listing.
Yeah. And the same house a month ago sold for $375.
Okay, Dad. Thank you.
We put a listing active at $395, and another house just like it sold for $405 about 2 weeks ago, and we're getting offers at $390. To me, that indicates a buyer's market. That's why I'm asking, because the numbers say one story, but what are our actual listings telling us?
Are those listings in the Springs or in Denver Metro?
Anywhere from Denver Metro down to Springs. Yeah, one of those was in the Springs, and one of them was in Parker. The 408 and 395 house was in Parker.
I think we're seeing a little bit of a difference between houses that are move-up houses and houses that are first-time home buyers. We don't have enough data to really speak to a trend yet, I don't think. But I mean, we have put a house under contract 3 times in the past week. Happens to be the same house, but for over asking price, and we've had multiple offers. That's in the 300s. That's a first-time home buyer's house, whereas we have other listings that are sitting without that competition. So I think there's a couple different markets going on right now, and we're seeing some homes selling over asking, and we're having some buyers be able to go in and negotiate. And I think once we start showings again, it'll really tell what's going to happen over the next month.
Yeah, I would agree that anything below 400, we're still getting multiple offers on it.
Yeah. First time home buyers is the highest demand we're getting for applications right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Hello.
So I said it's just a weird, weird time for the numbers. Can somebody mute? Yeah. Any other things that you're seeing with your list? What I'm really seeing those on the buyer side, because on the buyer side, we've got negotiating power on several different buyers that we put. I want to say the last 4 that we've done have been under asking with concessions. Now that's been 1 in the Denver Metro, 2 in Colorado Springs, and 1 in Pueblo. All 4 of them have been under ask price with some level of concessions.
I had mine under ask price in Greeley, and with no earnest money, so that was odd.
Yeah.
And 6,000 in concessions.
Are y'all seeing that for your buyers as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
Has anybody else put an offer in the past 10 days and it was under ask price and you got it accepted?
Mm-hmm.
So I see Jesse saying yes.
Yeah, Dalton.
Yes.
I think Dalton. It was Dalton or Scott that just got one with a $6,000 concession under contract.
Yeah.
And
When's the last time that happened?
I mean, we were seeing signs of it last fall for sure. There was opportunities for buyers to get concessions last fall.
I'd say August through December that was happening, but since December, I don't think it's happened in a while.
It's also definitely, though, very price point specific and location specific as well.
Yeah.
I have, on the flip side, I have buyers who are looking in Aurora and they feel like they can come under asking price on every home. And we haven't won a property yet because they're having that mentality. So it's definitely price point specific and location specific at this point, just because it's so unknown.
I agree with that, but you notice we keep saying that like the numbers are odd and it's price point specific. That is why you need to dig into these numbers and figure it out. You need to dig in, check all the comps before you do anything with your clients, buyers or sellers, see the trends, look up the stats, ask a title company, get it from Showing Time, get all the numbers so you can go in ready. Because if you go to one house and in that area, showings are down a little bit, prices are way up, they're going under contract in 2 weeks still, you know you're good. If you go one neighborhood over in the same zip code and it's completely different, then you need to know that. They might be a mile away from each other, but they're a mile away from each other in what's going on too.
I think the other thing that I've noticed too is knowing the motivation of the seller. If you can talk to that other agent and get as much motivation, because it could be in a high demand neighborhood and you still are getting it because they have to hurry and sell.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Thing is, what I'm getting at is we got to get real good at our job right now. We got to get really, really good. Even better than we were before. Because y'all were all really good before. Now we got to get even better. Because the error possibilities is higher now. Does that make sense? Especially for listings. Because I mean, if we're all agents. If you see a house that's been on the market for 40 days, are you going to offer ask price? No. You're not going to do it. And if average days on market is 38, of course, that's a wide range because I tried to take out houses over 800,000 and houses under 250,000 because those are kind of anomalies. So I went in between those two, and it was 38 days on market. So if you're seeing those days and it starts to creep up, have a plan with your sellers no matter what. Because I know we're getting back to show housing. I think that's going to provide a little bit of false hope for people because just because we're allowed to do it doesn't mean buyers are going to want to. They're not just going to come running saying, oh, okay, we're allowed. We can show houses. Oh, we still have to social distance and everything. We still got to be safe about everything. I'm still seeing a lot of posts on Facebook of a lot of people saying they think it's too soon. Mm-hmm. Do you think your buyers think the same way and your sellers think the same way? Some of them do. So we're still going to have to go after the motivated, the people who have to buy or sell or the people who need to buy and sell. Still going to have to find those people. It's just those people, it's going to be a little bit easier to get them under contract. It doesn't mean the market's going to flood with listings right now, though. At least I don't think so. If it does, good. Any other questions? Any other concerns about that? What do y'all think is going to happen? I want to hear your thoughts on this. Because I don't want to just be me dictating and I'm trying to determine the way of what we're going to do. I just want to, brainstorm around what we think is going to happen now that we're just allowed back to do showings.
I have a concern. I mean, as much as I want to go show all my buyers' properties, I'm still very concerned. I'm going to walk into a home and next thing you know, because those people are so excited to have the opportunity to go out and socialize again, and then they catch it. I'm just nervous because I have a young child here, 10 and a half months old. I'm just, a little paranoid right now, but I'm trying not to be, but is anybody else feeling that way?
I am.
I think caution is going to have to be used, and I don't think people, unless people are really motivated, they have a reason, they're not going to rush out right now.
Yeah.
And the numbers, like you said, you really don't know. You don't know how much longer this is going to go on, how things are going to open up, whose jobs are coming back. And it's just going to take patience to, and like I said, just keep watching the numbers and make the most sense you can out of them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be all over the place.
To me, people who have been looking lately as well, they've gotten, it's more of a normal now to look through photos, look through video to be able to determine if they like the house or not. So you could probably, as Casey was mentioning, use that as your leverage piece to really narrow down, hey, drive past locations, use this video to take a look at the property, see photos, and then from there you're really funneling down to one, ultimately save you time anyway from doing a ton of showings and to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm thinking a lot of people are just more focused on getting out of the house, and now that you're doing it, a phase at a time, their focus isn't really truly on a lot of the safety issues. And like you said, this is where we have to really be good at our jobs. Yep. And not just because, that ERA is there for pricing, but it would also cause them to gravitate more towards using us as realtors, as opposed to going to your Zillows and, anybody else that's still out there. And again, letting them know in, the way that we do that, there's caution out there. We still have to maintain a level of safety, not only for them working in their best interest, but for the seller or the buyer we're working for and ourselves. Because again, being in that over 60 range, I have to use some wisdom too. And even if it's incorporating a document for my records, I have explained to you your options, and if I don't feel comfortable of going into a house, I may, contact that other party and say, this person's coming in. But again, they're leaning to us. How do we know that the seller has, disinfected their home? Or how do we know that that buyer has not been exposed? We don't. So again, it's a case by case, but we still have to take those precautions, not only for our health, but again, like the numbers and showing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Mark.
So one thing that I think that we're maybe overlooking is the two of the busiest places, Home Depot and Lowe's. They've been crazy busy. People have either been improving their houses, working on their houses, doing stuff, but getting them ready for sale. But I also think there's the other end of the spectrum where I think there are a lot of people, once they've been quarantined in their house for as long as we have been, they're sick of it. And any small little thing that was bothering them about the house is now huge. And I think the psychological aspects coming in.
I almost tore out a half wall over the weekend because I was sick of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, you see me, I'm putting a home gym in. Like, I'm just doing things around the house, just give me something to do. Sharon, going back to what you said, there's going to be, 1 second, Mark, I see you. There's going to be people, though, there's going to be people who come out because they've been stuck in the house. They're going to say, we want to go see 50 houses. We've got them all picked out. Let's go. You've got to be the professional that says, let's narrow that down. I understand we're allowed to go see houses. That is not the intent, and that is not the safe way to do this. Let's really dig in. If you have to, go through the pictures with them. Go through the house. Do you really like this? Okay, you said you wanted this in a house, but this doesn't have it. Or you said you didn't want this. This does have it. Like, how can we narrow this down? Because I think you still need to narrow. I would keep it to like 3 at a max. Like treat it like it's HGTV. You get 3 and pick one.
Yeah.
I would not feel comfortable showing somebody 10, 15 houses.
Oh, no. Not
And I don't
raises your odds.
And as we have previewed properties in certain areas, we pretty much know that style of home. And, like you said, okay, knowing the style of home, it does not have X. You said you wanted X. So again, that process elimination. Yeah. And as we're looking virtually and we're going to narrow down, just like they were to look at properties 24/7 on all the sites. we are going to narrow it down to 2 homes. So which one of these? But again, you need to get in by a certain time. We need to move quickly, and
I
I
can't stress enough how now is a time to get your app in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
They are sitting at home looking at houses every day, I promise you. Do you want them looking at Zillow, or do you want them looking at your app?
Right.
I would also say just because they're comfortable looking, you still can have valid concerns about looking at homes if you're at risk or if you have kids. So, see if anyone wants to show it to them.
Right.
And you can still help them and not have to hold it back because you're concerned and for a valid reason.
Mr. Painter?
Yeah, so I reached out to Megan Aller real quick. She works at First American Title, and I had her send me her statistics packet. If you don't know Megan, I've been using her for about a decade to have conversations about numbers and statistics. And the cool thing that she does is she creates talking points about the numbers. And so I've sent them to Greg, and if Greg wants to send them out to everybody that wants them, it is really good information. She is doing another stats thing on Friday. But I've found over the last decade that because she worked at Multi-List and because she's an engineer by trade, she really knows how to put these things together. And typically she's not very far off from what she predicts. So it's good information.
Thank you.
You bet.
She's doing that update weekly now.
Yeah.
Her numbers are updated weekly, not monthly. It was great last Friday going through that.
Yep.
I'll post it. It's amazing. She give you plenty of things to talk about, and that's just the one thing she brings besides title. But of course, it's just she really understands it.
And you're going to really need to know these numbers more than you did before when you're talking to clients, because they're not going to understand the little nuances of it, about why is it so different here. I have a friend who just bought a house over here and they got it for this much. Like, you're going to have to really be able to explain that more than before, because before we just had to go in with the highest, best offer we could. Go after it, give them everything. How can we get the house? And so it's going to be a little different now. And Beth just shared the link for you to be able to do that, to watch Megan. Any other questions? Anything else y'all want to talk about today before we get into the committees? I know this was the focus of most of it. I wanted it to be the focus, and then we're going to get into what the committees have going on. We're going to go a little out of order just because I'm going to go based off of how you are in order on my screen so I don't miss anybody. All right, so first we have Beth with the Tech Committee. You're muted.
Tech Committee is doing Tech Tuesday trainings. They started last week. We've got one today at 2:30, Master Your Contacts. So contacts is really the foundation of so much going on in Command. So if you're not using it, or maybe you are using it, I keep learning stuff all the time, and I use it every day. So jump on that call today. We'll start going through things and answer any questions you have. So look every Tuesday afternoon for a training that we're doing right now.
Okay, thank you. Betsy?
For the Finance Committee, in kind of with partnering with vendors, I actually am going to get a committee meeting together, and I would love for anybody that's interested, that has ideas on how we can have partner with vendors, how we can support them, how they can support us in communicating that to them. Reach out to me and let me know that you're interested, and we'll set up a time that's going to work for everybody. But that is my goal for this next week, is to get that taken care of.
Okay, thank you. I was going to go, is Brooke here? Is anybody from Education Committee here?
We haven't really had an update. I know she was working on some of those higher level, Jake Ginger, type classes to put in. I don't have an update as to what her and Care have worked out on the calendar, if anything.
Okay. Well, one of the things I'll speak with for Brooke a little bit here. One of the things she and I talked about is we've got so many things on the calendar already. Like the education committee is just going to help facilitate and getting it out to everybody and determining. Basically, we're going to ask for feedback. If you attend a class and you loved it, please give us feedback. If you didn't like it, please give us feedback, because we need to narrow down which classes we need to get in for you and which ones we can stop doing. And then if there's something you really want, email us, text us, call anybody, me, Greg, Jordan, Brooke, and let us know. We will get it on the calendar, and we will do it quickly. We had somebody last week ask for stats. We had somebody ask for short sales. We're gonna be doing short sales next week. So if you need something, let us know. And please, the feedback's important. If we're not doing well, if there's something we need to do better, we really need to know that, because we don't want to just lose attendance because of that. Good? I think on the blank stares means we're good.
Good.
Or you're playing solitaire. All right. What other committee? Kristen's not here. Emily's not here. So let's go to the one that we got a big event coming up. So let's go to Culture Committee.
All right. I can't see everybody on here, but I really want to thank the Culture Committee. We've had a lot of people jump in to help with Red Day. We've got like 10 to 15 plus people helping out on this. So it's been really cool. There's a few key updates. We have Red Day coming up on May 14th. If you have not seen the Facebook post that Memory posted on Sunday, definitely go check that out. It breaks everything down, because there's a lot more detail to this Red Day than maybe the general agent population may have needed to know than in the past, but it's because we're doing everything in a very different way. So the main thing that we are doing is we are feeding the nurses at UC Health. The second floor, from our understanding, is the COVID floor, and there are 100 nurses that'll be working the night shift of the 14th into the 15th. A lot of times the night nurses are just kind of neglected in terms of free meals and pampering and things like that. So that's why we are going to be feeding them in the evening time. We've worked out a really great deal with Jason's Deli, where they'll get a nice boxed lunch, cookies, things like that. And we're going to be coordinating the drop off there. So in addition to that, we are going to deliver just letters of encouragement. So we have a file uploaded to Facebook, and what we're asking is for every agent to just print 10 of those off. If you don't have access to a printer, anything will work. It does not have to be that branded card. It could be just a thank you note you have at home. We'd love everybody to be able to do 10. Anything, even if you can only do 3 or 4, would be really impactful. And then just drop those off to the office or mail them into the office by May 1st, so that we have them in time to deliver them to the hospital by Red Day. So that's one way that you can get involved and help. The other is donations. So we've got to pay for all this food that we're delivering, as well as some of the gift items that we're going to be delivering, to give them just a little treat, something to bring a smile to their face. So you can donate through the Venmo account that's posted in that post. We did create a Market Center Venmo. We would love for every agent to be able to donate $20 or more if you've got it. Other ways that you can help, though, is we will have a graphic that you can share with externally. So with your vendors, your clients, your Facebook friends. And so we'll have that shared here shortly within the next day or two, so you can work on just promoting donations. It's a great way to touch your database. And I know a lot of you guys have been successful doing that in the past for Red Day. So would love to hear your thoughts on that as well, if you have any suggestions. A couple other things that we are doing. One of them, we're still waiting. The hospital, as you can imagine, is just very busy right now. There's a lot of people looking to help, and there's a lot of people looking to donate food. So hearing back from their admin has been a little bit of a challenge. We would like to do a day of parade with our cars safely in our vehicles, just to show the nurses support. And with that, we'll ask everybody to either decorate their vehicle or just have a sign. And we are going to coordinate that from 7 to 8 p.m. while they're having a shift change. So we can show our support to as many of the nurses and staff as possible. So more details on that piece to come. The other thing that we're doing is gift items. So we've gotten some amazing donations. I think Memory's friend just committed to donating 100 pairs of leggings. We've gotten several bath and body items. We've gotten some journals. So if you have any connections to somebody who may be willing to either donate or drastically reduce the cost of anything that we could give to these nurses just to show some support, please message me. And we'll also be delivering flowers with the food. So it's going to be a lot of things coming together on Red Day, and your participation in helping raise money to fundraise for this is greatly appreciated. That's the best way we can get involved this year, since we aren't necessarily able to kind of work physically together that day. What questions? I know that's a ton of information. The post does a really good job summarizing it, but what questions does everybody have?
Good, I'm not the only one who gets the blank stares.
You're not.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for this and the Culture Committee. I think you have put together a great plan, and this is going to be awesome. If anybody deserves it right now, it's the nurses who are dealing with COVID.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
The link that you have for donations, I imagine that's on Facebook. Is there any restrictions for access to that link? I was thinking what if we did on our Facebook business pages? What if we created an event that ended on that day for people to donate, and then, use the information to market and invite everybody we know on Facebook to donate for that cause? Could they just go to the event and then they click on the link and donate if they're able to? If I did that?
So it's not necessarily a link. I'm trying to see if Memory's on here because she knows about how that works with Facebook. I don't.
Yeah.
It's a Venmo account, so it's not really a link. I think they'd have to search. If you could connect your Facebook event to the Venmo account, great. But the other thing is you could just have it go to I don't know, you could have it go to a link that you create within Facebook and then transfer the funds over to this Venmo account.
If anybody has, if you put that link out there for the Venmo account, if you have a Venmo account, that's fine anybody can donate to that account or send money to that account. They just need, the Venmo account to send it to. So that Keller, what is it? I think Keller Williams, Denver Southeast, whatever it is, if you put that in your post and just tell them that's where they make their donation.
Yeah.
Any issue with that? I mean, as far as privacy or
right.
Anybody can donate to it.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, that's one of my best calls of the year is whenever I call for Red Day to all my clients, let them know what we're doing, see if they want to get involved in donations they want to make. They love the fact that we do it.
Awesome. Does anybody else have tips on how to share that with their sphere or their database? Anybody have success stories from previous years?
So I think based on the class that we did yesterday, the Facebook class, create a post that gets you a good whip effect. And then the whip effect post could be this. It could be the post about Red Day. That way you get more eyes on it. And your clients are more likely to see it.
Awesome. And our goal right now is to feed 100 nurses. I'm really confident that, especially with a cause like this, we're going to actually be able to fundraise quite a bit more. So we will probably be able to feed a lot more than 100 nurses. So
I will have a client-facing graphic that you guys can send out. I'll have that done by this evening, and then I'll post it on the Market Center page, and it'll have information that will be appropriate to send to your clients, and maybe put a Facebook post, and it'll have the Venmo link information on it as well.
What's the cost to feed the 100? Have we gotten a ballpark on that?
So for the food alone, it'd be $1,000.
Okay.
And then we're doing flowers, and we're still waiting to see how many of the gifts we can get free versus what we could buy at a reduced cost. So there's some wiggle room there as well.
Okay.
Personally, I think we can easily raise enough money to feed 200 nurses. So
Yeah. I mean, if everyone at the office does $20, there's $2,000 right there.
Mhm. And then the last thing for our committee is we will be having a meeting on May 1st to finalize some of the details. We'll get that out to the rest of the office, but anybody who wants to join in that, please do. I don't have a time because the time we had agreed on is now Joe Bogar meeting time. So as soon as we have that training calendar out, we can decide on a time that doesn't overlap with other things. And if you're interested, just shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll get you invited to that calendar invite.
Okay.
I would say out of all years and all things that we can do for Red Day, this is the year to get 100% participation. So, you know, I hope everyone is able to do it, help out in some way. And Danielle, is there a plan to maybe call the roster or get a hold of some of the people who don't get on all these Zooms or Facebook, you know, reach out to them and see if they can help out?
That's a really good idea. Yes, I will message you about that.
Okay.
Yeah. And even with the cards, if you're busy and you have kids at home, like have your kids draw a little picture. Like anything that we can do just to show these nurses support would be awesome. Even if you can't print the cards out, just have them draw 10 pictures and keep them busy while you work and lead gen. And we'd be happy to drop those off with everything.
I mean, I know I'm really big into the coloring ideas because I know my daughter likes it right now with markers and all, but you just gave me a great idea, like a nurse with a super cape on or something, like a superhero cape, and have her color it and then include it in one of the thank you cards. I think that'd be awesome.
Be really cool.
Gives her something to do. She gets to pitch in, and I'm sure she'd like to do it anyways. Okay, anything else about Red Day? Any other questions? Is anybody excited about it? Yeah. Some of your faces are just so stoic. You just. You just won the lottery. All of you crack me up. All right, last thing I want to talk about before we go is Bold Pivot. If you have signed up, raise your hand. If you're excited about it, keep your hand up. Bold Pivot's going to be amazing. So it's $99 for 4 weeks. 4 weeks of training, right? I keep getting this wrong because I think it was 3 before, something like that. 3 days a week for 4 weeks, 2 hours a day. Is that correct?
No. Sort
There's
of.
2 days of training. There's 2 days of coaches being available. So technically there's up to 4 days for 4 weeks.
Okay, that's what it is. Everybody's going all in on this. And here's the cool thing about it is you're going to get to connect with some people in these training rooms that you never thought you'd get to connect with. There's going to be MAPS coaches in there. There's going to be top agents in there from across the country. You're going to be in rooms with, you're going to be in a room with Lance Loken. You're going to be in a room with Matt Teeter, who's my coach. You're going to be in a room with, I just forgot, Mike Bastian. Like you're going to be in a room with these people where you get to ask questions and learn from them, and it costs you $99 to do it. Because Gary is making a big push for all of the top agents to sign up, so everybody else has access to them for 4 weeks. So, I mean, it's going to be amazing. They're finding a way to provide great value to us over the next 4 weeks for only $99.
That's Gary calling Jesse right now to make sure that he signs up.
Yeah. Yeah. I would urge all of you to sign up if you can. Now, here's the cool part. You have a closing. We're going to give you the $99 back. It's a free class. You're going to get a closing out of it. So you get a closing, we're going to give you $99 back. Who likes that? We have 20 people signed up out of almost 120 in the office. I think we can at least get half of the office to sign up. we're going to be making calls about this as well. This is going to benefit you and your business. $99 is cheap, and they're doing it just because they want to get everybody involved. This is probably a class they should charge at least half of what Bold is, like $400. And we have a few scholarships available at the office. So if you're really interested and the money is an issue for you, send me an email and we'll see what we can do about getting you a scholarship for it. Okay? Excited faces, everybody. I need to see excited faces. All right, because this is gonna be a really good class. Just the fact, whenever they told me the people who are going to be signed up, and they said they're going to balance it out to where every room, every training event has, because they're doing it a few different ways. It's live stream, and then they're doing some rooms. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. This is just how it was kind of explained to me. I don't even know if they have it planned out exactly how they're going to do it, but you're going to have direct access to some of the top people in the industry. And I know that we've all paid $100 to be in a room with Mike Bastian. I know we've all paid $100 to be in a room with Seth Campbell or Tim Heil or Lance Loken. Like, we've all done that. Cody Gibson. This is a chance to be in the room for 4 weeks for $100 to learn everything you can. So take advantage of it. Greg, can we email the link to everybody?
I'm sure I can find it.
Yeah, let's so what we'll do is let's put it on Facebook and let's email it out to everybody. And then we'll text it to everybody as well. So you get it basically at every forum that you can, and we're just going to bombard you until you give in and say yes. We're doing this to look out for you. I don't usually push things like this where you have to pay for it. I genuinely believe this is going to help you in your business, especially in these times. Because there's something right now that I don't want to say it concerns me, but I know as realtors, we look at things through rose-colored glasses and everything's going to be okay. The best people in the business keep telling me June and July are not going to be okay. The best people in the business keep telling me that. Gary keeps saying it. My coach keeps saying it. Lucas keeps saying it. Joe Bogar saying it. Like, the best people that I know in the business are saying everything is not going to be just fine. You're going to have to work harder to make it be okay. And this is a way that we can do that. Taking Bold is going to be a benefit for you. Also, directly after this, 1 o'clock, Kara is going to be leading, what was it? I have to look at the calendar real quick. Learn, build, and activate your Facebook campaigns. Learn, build, and activate. You're going to learn how to do it. You're going to build it, and we're going to hit the go button, and you're going to start getting leads from it. If you've been putting off because you don't know how to do it, this is how you do it. If you've been putting off on it because you didn't want to put the money in it, if you've never done one, $25 is free from Keller Williams. If you've been putting it off because you just put things off, don't do it. 1 o'clock, Kara's going to show you how to do it. We're going to activate it. Up to $200. Our office, our market center will reimburse you from a closing that you have out of the campaign. So you get a lead, you close it, we give you back $200. How does that sound, everybody? Jacqueline, you going to be there? She said, yes, I am. We were on the call the other morning and I said, we're going to do this and we're going to hit the go button right then. Before we get off of it, you hit the go button and you show us that you activated it. That way we know you're going to have leads coming in. Like I said, there's some things like this we're pushing because we want you to see the benefit of it. Every day we're seeing people get 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 leads out of these, and then they're getting closings out of them. This is the cheapest way you can get leads. I'm not going to point anybody out, or I don't want anybody to say raise your hands, but I know people have spent thousands of dollars a month to get leads. This is a way where you can spend $50 and get leads. Anybody excited about that?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Well, it starts in 4 minutes. Like I said, Kara's going to be leading that. We'll see you all there.
Hey, hold on a second.
Oh, what'd I forget?
No, I'm just wanting some clarification on that $200 reimbursement. Does that mean they have, if they're doing a first time ad and they get a $25 credit from Keller Williams, that they
They can
should
do
do
225.
$225? Or if they do 200, they would still get the 200, or it'd be 175 then?
It'd be 175. So if they pay 200, because the 25 is free, so they only paid 175.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
trying to
Mark.
make sure that they're not making $25 by doing it.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
that's the intention.
Mark, what's your question?
Yeah, I don't have a question. I just wanted 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So just real quick, guys, the finance world is getting really tight out there. Things are drying up that you thought were pre-approved a month ago. We're still getting them done. So please call me if you have anything turning around.
I was going to give Mark a shout out last thing before I got off. I had a client I've been working with for a year and a half. They've been working with a lender for a year and a half. They finally got approved for the number they wanted. It was 210, not even that big, right? We're looking at houses. And then yesterday, they come back and say, nope, you're approved at 175 because we have a new overlay that we have to put in. I sent it to Mark. Mark said we can get him up to 250. We got his house. So people are putting in overlays. Mark's figuring out how to make it happen. Thank y'all. See y'all in 3 minutes.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Make it happen for me, Mark.
Yeah. See you guys.
Yeah.